Okay, Jim Brooks here. I've been doing a lot of research lately on how to grow tomatoes, and a lot of people doing these videos and how to do this new technique I'm doing. I thought, why not have a professional walk us through all the steps to doing this new way of growing tomatoes using buckets you put in the ground, drilling holes in them, letting them irrigate the plants. So here we go. Well, the first thing you got to start off with is have some area to put your tomatoes, and you go to Home Depot and get some of these buckets. And everybody's using the Home Depot ones because they got a different lip if you want to grow these other type of towers where you put two buckets inside each other and then use this as your container. But I'm going to use the existing ground. Here's the bucket you got. Here's my little area we're going to plant these babies in. Right along here. So there's the buckets. Now we'll show you the technique we're going to use. Okay, now we're going to move on to the next part of our project, which is actually marking the buckets and then drilling them where we need to put the holes. So what I'm doing, I'm having 4 plants. They're kind of in a rectangular area, so they won't be perfectly square. If you had a nice round area, if you were going to put a plant here, a plant here, a plant here, a plant here, it'd be easier to mark. You know, you just mark each corner of the bucket. But since I'm going to have the bucket in the ground and then kind of a plant here and here, nothing against the fence, and a plant here and here, that's how you got to mark it. So you got to go do your measurements. You can stick the bucket on the ground and kind of get your idea, which I did. And that's where I got my starting point at here. And the thing is, we're going about 1 inch above the lip of the bucket, then another 4 inches up, and then another 4 inches up. The reason that's important is, especially on the top, we want them all even, because this amount is going to be above the ground. This is going to be about 1 inch above the ground is where these dots are going to be. So when you fill the bucket up with water is going to drain out real quick and kind of cover the surface until it gets down to there. Of course, then it won't drain out anymore. Then it'll, in theory, drain out these holes here. And that's where you'll get your deep watering. So then you fill the bucket up every, a couple days or so. And that way you can regulate your water. You see the bucket's empty after a couple days, you know it's time to fill the bucket back up. And that's how you keep a constant water source to your tomatoes. So here's what I've done. I've marked the, I started here, 1 inch up, and about an every inch. I just estimated here. I didn't take out my tape measure for this, but I just guesstimated 1 inch. So you mark it there, you come up 4 inches, and you just mark it with your little Sharpie. Dot, 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 and then up here, once again, pretty simple. And I like it now because I can go back to each bucket and I don't even have to get my measuring tape out anymore and just kind of have a guide. I can see, well, it's there, it's right above his hand on the bucket there, it's right in the E on the in the Home Depot, so I don't have to go back and measure each one. I can kind of see where I'm at and get the idea that way for speed. So now that we've got our holes marked, it's time to drill some holes. Once again, 1/4 inch drill bit. And away we go. Okay, finished with the first bucket here, drilling holes. So get a close up there, kind of get. If you want to look inside the bucket, you can see there. You can see the holes in series. So that's what we do. We got our 4 sets. Probably took me. You know, I didn't time myself, but I'd say probably a couple minutes to drill all those holes. How many holes we got? We got 12 times 4, 48 holes you got to drill to get 1 bucket. So, not bad. So now, time to go to work on 5 more, since that's what I'm doing today. Okay, now that we've got our buckets all drilled, we have to set them in the ground, of course. And remember, we want to take them down in the ground. We got to bury them at least this deep, because we want this 1 inch above the ground, this top mark here. So we got to dig a hole. Remember, we were 9 inches up here, so 8-inch deep hole. Set these buckets in, so that's 1 inch above the ground. That way when you fill the water up, the water will run out onto the ground, and then these will leach into the ground here. So let's get started digging our holes. Okay, we're going to wedge this baby down in there. Remember, we want our plants, since they got holes here, holes here, holes here, holes here. So I'm going to have a plant here, a plant here, a plant here, a plant there. So right about that point, looks like I'm pretty good here. So there you go. Looks pretty good right there, about an inch above the ground. So when we fill this up, the water will leach out. So after we get them all done, we'll kind of give you that demonstration. Eventually we're going to fill this with mulch too. They want a couple shovels full of mulch, as this one guy recommended me, so we'll go find some of that and put it in there too. Okay, not an exact science by any means, but we've got them all on the ground. See the last top hole about an inch above the ground. That's where we want each one of these. So we kind of come along here on my little area here in the back. It's about 5:30 in the evening, so trees kind of hamper me with sun here, but they get about, for the most part here, it gets about 8 hours. Especially after my neighbor trimmed off all their junk in the back there. So, all right, now the fun part. We'll plant some tomatoes, see how that goes. These are some aromas. Okay, I finished planting the tomatoes around the buckets. So we got that all set up here. We got all 6 sets here. I probably could have been a little bit more liberal. Maybe gotten a couple more buckets. Probably could have put one there, maybe, and maybe tightened these up a little bit. But I think this will be good. Carly seems to like it. You think it looks good, Carly? All right. Now Carly's going to take me here, putting up the last step of our process here, putting up some fencing. Okay, our last step here. Got Carly videotaping us now. Got to put up this fencing. Now I never had enough fencing for this project here, so I'm going to have to go get some more, so we won't quite get that finished off tonight, but we'll give you the idea here. We're going to put it in here and just go down the line. We got the back fence as our support here, but we'll go ahead and just get started here. And the reason I like using the existing fence here, it gives me a place to tie out into.
You take the fence and stick the pokey things in the dirt. He was flying really low. Sorry about that noise. There was a plane going by.
Yeah, I don't think people will mind the plane, will they?
Probably not. It was flying really low, too. Whoa. I think there was just like a hawk or falcon.
I lost our connection back here, Carter, but I'll go back and get it.
You have to connect them just right so they stick together.
So I think what I'll do is I'll probably go over this way right here and go ahead and tie in there. And I'll start a new fence there when I get the new. Okay, it's time to put some water in these babies and see how they work. So we've been kind of experimenting here a little bit, but right now here's what happens. Come on over here, Carly, look in the bucket. We're going to fill this baby up. Now when it gets to the top holes, it's going to start running out already, so now we have to try to estimate how much longer should I keep it in there. I've also got a little erosion problem here on this one already. I need to get some more dirt plugged in there. So I'm going to have to guess. I'm probably going to get with the regular bucket and see how long it takes to fill it up. But you can see we're overflowing now, the top row. So I would say that would probably be enough for 5 gallons. So now see, it's going to drain out of the bucket. And now it's below those. So now it won't come out anymore. So now it's just going to leach out the bottom of it. Because we've reached the top, or below the top rows. So now that water's going to stay in there, and as the ground needs it, it'll leach out of that bucket. So now we'll go to this one. So you can see, once you pan back a little bit, Carly, see we've already tried this one time. This ground was really dry, so I need to pack some more dirt in there because I'm getting a little bit of erosion already, but that's all right. You get the idea. So you can see the water's already coming up around the sides from the middle row of holes. So now we're to the top row, and now it's flowing over. You can see it. Come on over here, Carly. You can see it coming out right there. Okay. So I'd say the bucket would probably be full. So now the water will run out. And there you go. That's our watering project. We'll give you updates throughout the year, let you know how the plants are doing. Special thanks to my helper, Carly.
Hi.
Okay, here's the way it all looks.
We have to get some deep for that.
Yeah, we got to get a little bit more dirt in there around the buckets, don't we? Yeah, we'll keep everybody updated throughout the year. We'll see how this goes, Carly. I kind of like it.
Water didn't really help.